Well, people lost their minds, firstly. I think there was a collective nauseating human response to fear, which showed how irrational people become under the conditions of widespread fear and sensationalism. And that was worrying to me. And, people like David Charalambos, who I know has been on your show, and various others who are able to explain in much better detail than I am about what happens to the brain and why people respond in the way they do under those conditions. But that is one major variable that we cannot ignore, is the response of the human species to a perceived threat at scale is wild. And that's why, we've just been talking about data, right? Rationality. And it's hard. It is very hard, because you talk about death. Like, if you actually talk about death in numbers, it's impersonal. You talk about the death of a family member, it's deeply personal. It's deeply personal and emotional and tragic. And, there's never a good death. Although some cultures may actually say there is, because it's an ascendancy into it or whatever. But, most cultures don't celebrate.
It's funny you say a good death, because, of course, there was a documentary called A Good Death.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but it's...
yeah, we might talk about that in a moment.
Yeah, so data and statistics are unemotional. And because of the heightened state of fear and the emotions that corresponded with that, that's why many of us struggled when we were communicating on pure data and facts alone, because you've got literally communicating on different levels. If someone is afraid, no matter how many times you tell them there's no lion, in their head they've seen a lion. If they're convinced they've seen a lion, there's no telling them. And it takes a long time to come out of that. Also, when we look at the biomechanics of it in terms of cortisol and the actual, like, what happens under stress, persistent stress, it takes a long time for the body to actually detox from these neurochemicals, biochemicals that occur under stressful situations. So you've literally got people wired into stress month on end, day on day. It's peak insanity, maintained at that level from a constant stream of media sensationalism.
Thanks for watching this video on our YouTube channel. If you want to listen to the full episode, you can do by subscribing to the Radical Health Rebel podcast using the QR code on the screen. Or if you, like me, you prefer to watch the full episode, you can subscribe to our Substack using the QR code on the screen right now.